Going live. Updating settings, starting video
Looks
transition.
like
Tweet
we
has
are
been posted.
live.
And we should be, for the most part, live on Twitch.
Yes. Okay. Hello and welcome to the TechNet show. We are finally back. We were supposed to go
Hello.
live yesterday, but well,
It's okay.
sorry
Things
guys.
happen. That's admittedly that's mostly on my end. Things happened. But yeah, it's okay. We're having we found time today. We got this makeup stream going strong. That's a good thing
So,
too because we actually have extra information to talk about.
yes. And let's talk about the most important thing today, the HomePod Mini.
Yes, everyone's been waiting for this news. I know I have.
It comes in different colors. Okay. Okay, real talk. I really like that orangish color.
Oh yeah, the orange is a solid color. I'm not gonna lie,
Uh
it's most likely gonna clash with literally everything else in my room right now, but it is a nice orange.
so
It's a
there's
very
that orange. They have like a yellow and then they have like that. Okay, the blue is like the iPhone 12 Pro's blue, not like the Sierra blue from this year.
yeah.
So they now have like a nice little pop of color. And you know what? $99. I know that that's price hasn't really changed at all, but honestly, I've always thought that yes, it's still more significantly more expensive than your Google Home, but I believe that Google subsidizes them because of the fact that they collect your data.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm not saying
Good old
that
Google.
Apple doesn't collect your data, but at least they try to anonymize it.
Yeah. On the plus side, you can see literally anything and everything Google collects on you.
It's
It's
true.
just it's a very fascinating and very scary thing to look up, but you can see it unless for some reason you try to give them information and they don't want to take it. But that's another story for another day.
But other reasons why I kind of like the HomePod Mini is the fact, come on, that top. The top looks cool.
It does. It's a it it gives me a very good looking Magic 8 Ball vibe to it. I kind of wish that's something that I don't know to like add on for the future. Can it just like I don't know if it's safe to shake a HomePod Mini, but
Yeah.
can we get some Magic 8 Ball functionality sometime in the future? Maybe customizable glow tops on the top. I don't know.
Yeah. But honestly, I see the point of this. I know it's a bit expensive, but I feel like the trade-off with the fact that it's it's more private than Google stuff. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm saying that's better.
No, yeah.
Better from terrible is
Still
is
better.
not great. So I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying it's better.
They're getting better.
That's all I
I
have to
won't.
say.
I'm assuming we've gone to the territory where we won't shame you for getting yourself a HomePod Mini. You do you.
Okay, and the other thing is that they also announced a $5 a month Apple Music plan. So, you know, have did you hear about the Echo Dot plan for like Amazon Music
I
or the
have
Echo
not.
plan?
What
So
is the
that's
story on that?
Amazon's version of this. So pretty much you can only play it on Echo devices. So, you know, you could say like Alexa, Play. Ooh, I don't know. What would I want them to play? I don't know. Anything.
Play the TechNet show. Which reminds me, we should find a way to see if we can convert these into like audio podcast formats sometime in the future. If you're down for that,
Yeah, I'm down
'cause
for that. That sounds great.
I feel like recently podcasts have been my saving grace for my newly acquired hour-long commutes. So
So,
you
well,
know,
if we
it's
want to do that, then we should start recording in a bit higher quality. At
yeah,
least the audio side of this.
yeah, we'll work on it.
Yep.
Yeah, possibly. We
Look
can look
forward to
forward
that
to it
then.
sometime. Yeah, sometime in the future. But
But yeah, so pretty
shameless
much.
plugs for possible future products aside.
But yeah, it's pretty much a Siri only type of thing. I'm not sure if that includes like um you know, sorry. I'm not sure if that includes like your phone asking Siri to do that. That's a hard one to think of. I don't know that. But
Yeah. Right now, off of the main page, the closest thing I can see in terms of devices is the only really list that's available on Apple devices. But they don't list available on other supported devices like the other plans do.
yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the other. Okay. This one I'm actually pretty excited about. AirPods. I
AirPods.
know. It's like they're so expensive. They're $180. Why not just get the Pro at this point? And you know what? That's fair. That's 100% fair. But do you know what I'm excited about, Jared?
What would that be?
They finally, someone has made a Bluetooth codec for microphones that's supposedly better.
Yes.
AAC ELD speech codec. Oh my gosh. And they say it's HD quality. Normally, when people say HD quality, that would imply that it's normal quality. So if it can get anywhere close to a normal earphone's quality when it comes to FaceTime calls or like, any other type of calls. Well, I mean, maybe not any other type of call because, cell phone networks.
Uh-huh.
What are you going to do about that? But
Yeah,
FaceTime,
that's
how, have you ever tried a FaceTime call on like your AirPods? It sounds like a phone call. But
I am
if you do a FaceTime call using like, regular earphones or with your speakers, it sounds like this.
yeah.
So,
Fair enough. I'll be completely honest. I cannot really speak from experience. Um, and truth be told, the only time I've ever actually gone into a FaceTime call was because my sister accidentally started a FaceTime call for all of 3 seconds. So yeah, I can't help you in terms of the experience side.
okay, well, you know how Bluetooth headphones usually sound on calls, right?
No, yeah, it's a it's an experience.
Yeah, so you understand why I think that's so exciting, right?
Oh yes. Someone cares. Someone's looking up for the calls.
was I was wondering like why don't they do this? So I'm so happy that this new codec is out. I really hope that other Bluetooth headphone manufacturers go along with like, okay, let's find a different codec. Probably not the same one because well, it's probably some sort of weird Apple thing.
No, yeah.
But Man, Android needs to catch up on its Bluetooth game.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't hear much strides going on with their Bluetooth game.
So yeah, there's that, and apparently there's like even things like the mesh that minimizes wind noise and stuff like that. They finally are away from the capacitive buttons. Capacitive
No, yeah.
buttons on earphones piss me off.
No, yeah.
It's because whenever you adjust them, you're pressing the button. I don't know who thought that was a good idea. The same way you adjust in your ear is how you control it.
No, yeah. That that's not quite an ideal place to leave your leave your controls there. All things considered.
So there's that. So it's supposed to have up to 6 hours of listening with the charge, and the case should give you about 30 hours.
Yeah.
And apparently, 5 minutes of charging gives you an hour of listening.
That's pretty solid.
Don't know if that was a feature in the previous one. It might have been. I wouldn't deny it, but yeah, still cool
Yeah.
nonetheless.
Yeah. Still valuable.
Another feature is that it finally has well, not really finally, but it has the enhanced Find My, so you know the number of feet, what direction, stuff like that, you know.
Yeah. It doesn't become a guessing game the closer you get to it. You can more or less, well, I'm assuming there's still a bit of guessing game to it, but you're able to more precisely guess where it is now.
So yeah, well, spatial audio as well. So
Yeah.
in reality, the only feature between the AirPods Pro and the AirPods now is active noise cancellation.
No, yeah.
So you just need to ask yourself, and the fact that there's not silicon tips.
No, yeah.
I know that people love the silicon tips or they hate them.
No, yeah. It's a
I've
very
seen both.
polarizing.
So for some people, the fact that it doesn't have silicon tips might just be the reason why they get this over the Pro.
No, yeah. Yeah, it's a very make or break depending on what feels more comfortable uh, jamming into your ears. Now you're telling me you're getting, well, better mic, and your audio, at least the type of audio quality is starting to match up, with the exception of noise cancellation. Can't go wrong.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to these. I don't know if I'm going to get it, but this is a step in the right direction. And Android, you need to catch up.
Nah.
Bluetooth support. Look, I love my wired earphones, and I don't care if I need to use my wired earphones. But if you're going to remove the headphone jack, you need to make a competent Bluetooth device.
No, yeah.
It's all I have to say.
If you're gonna follow the headphone jackless trend, at least be well compensated for it. Don't just jump into it because everyone else is jumping in. Don't get peer pressured into it. You gotta be ready for it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my feelings on this. I think that the AirPods are going to be a great product. And I think that this will actually make people think whether or not the AirPods Pro is the way to go.
No, yeah.
Because the problem is that the AirPods, like the previous generation, it was one of those like, oh, the Pros are so much better. But now it's one of those like, you know, I could go either way.
No, yeah.
Just really depends on what environment I'm listening to music in.
No, yeah. I can see that. Yeah, if you're looking for the like something with just a little bit better, like a bit better audio experience, but you didn't want to dish out all the money for that, what was it, the AirPods Pro, then yeah, this new generation AirPods has a very nice middle ground for you. Um, yeah, I'm assuming the only time you're probably gonna wish you dished out a little bit more of an active noise canceling is probably um, either if you're always located in like a busy, like a loud, busy like urban area, or most likely, I'm assuming if I ever go on a plane trip again, I'm probably gonna want to keep active noise canceling on as long as I possibly can. But maybe that's
Yeah.
just me.
Yeah, but even then, I mean, quite frankly, you don't spend $280 for a trip.
That is true. Technically, you could just buy yourself, yeah, like if you're only doing it for yeah like one trip, then just buy yourself, I'd say wired headphones, but I mean nowhere really to plug it in. And get yourself something real quick. I don't know if there's disposable or like okay-ish wireless ones that you can just plug in and just tune out the world for like 6 to 10 hours at a time. I'm sure
Yeah.
there is by this point. Probably like Skull Candy makes some or something.
No. You know what I mean? What I'm saying there.
Yeah, yeah. You don't
It's a tough
you
sell.
don't yeah, yeah. You don't base that on purely like one trip.
Now,
Only if
if you're a freaking flyer, now that's a different story.
yeah.
At that point, I'd say don't even invest in this. Just get some Bose.
Oh yeah. Get yourself the good active noise canceling. Cover your whole ears here and just tune out the world. I would go
I'm
for the full on ear covers if I had to be
I'm
honest.
I'm one of those people that can't keep something in their ears for like 7 or 8 hours. Oh, by the way, if you guys don't know, the reason why we are saying 7 or 8 hours is because that's how long it takes us to get anywhere.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, about you're looking at around 7 hours just to get across this beautiful body of water that we call not even the full Pacific Ocean, just to get halfway across. So even if we're still hanging out in the good old US of A, we still got half an ocean to cross, and that's always fun.
Yeah. So yeah, we oh, this is a long trip.
Oh, yeah, it's a long one. Pack as much entertainment as you can. Make sure like 2 or 3 or 4 devices are charged. I probably bring a book or like I don't know, like crossword puzzle or something just in case. Like nothing else is keeping you entertained because it's a good trip. It's a good trip.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I think that is it time for the star of the show?
Have
Or one of
we
the stars of
have
the
we
show?
danced around? Have we danced around this topic enough? Is it time to unveil more colors of the HomePod? I'm kidding. But yeah, I think it's time. I think it's time we unveil, lift the veil per se.
Okay.
I don't know how that relates, but anyway.
So the star of the Apple event yesterday was the MacBook Pro. They now have a 14-inch and a 16-inch model, and it
Oh
is
yes,
redesigned, and they have listened. They have
they
listened.
have so much, so much. Thank you.
Do you want to know? Can you take a guess what is my favorite addition that they have on this?
Oh, 110% has to be the notch. Guarantee.
I mean, for real though. What do you think
No,
is?
no. Hmm. There's a lot of there's a lot of good contenders. I know one that I believe we actually mentioned in a previous stream that we were hoping for that they would bring back, but we never really actually had hopes for. MagSafe?
Well, they did bring that back, but
Not quite.
that's
Physical
not.
function keys.
Yes.
Yes. I
Yes.
know we didn't talk about that, but I know that was definitely something that I
I
was really happy about.
I really thought that they would die with touch bar. I really, really thought that they would just be like, you know what? Touch bar. Touch bar. And since they, already put so much R&D into it, I was like, I think that's just too late to go back.
Oh yeah. But here we are.
Which
They're willing to say, yeah, maybe the touch bar is just an initial consumer thing. We're
so
talking pro here.
that begs the question, why did the other MacBook Pro have a touch bar?
I'm going under the assumption that when they initially thought it, they're like, oh, this is definitely E for everyone. And, well, E for everyone hated it, but maybe not. I don't know if I remember. I'm assuming, if I remember correctly, it was not liked per se when it was a thing. And I guess they were willing to, well, they didn't want it to die, so they still brought it on the other 13-inch MacBook Pro that they just released. But this time around, they're like, okay, we need to make ones that actually live up to the Pro name. And if I'm willing to, we're willing to swallow our pride here and say maybe the touch bar doesn't quite fit the Pro creator lifestyle.
Okay,
Possibly.
but okay. There were useful things about the touch bar that I found genuinely useful. Timeline
Nah,
scrubbing was an amazing feature of the touch bar.
yeah. That is actually really cool that you're able to like see scroll through it right off the bar, right on top.
Yeah. And that was a much more granular solution. So it's like you have a jog wheel without having a jog. Jog wheels are basically those like spinny wheels that you could spin to.
No, yeah. You can spin through your timeline. You can like reel it out or roll it back in.
Yeah, it just gave you a type of precision that you just don't have with a mouse.
No, yeah.
And then a method that you really don't think about either. So that was actually a genuinely good feature.
No, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me about the design, Jared. What do you think?
Well, where do we begin? Um, I mean, a vast majority of the outside, at least body-wise, remains from what I can tell, relatively the same. Which is,
No,
I can't
it's
argue with.
not.
Oh, oh,
It's the curves are different. The
oh.
screen is flatter. And the
I guess.
feet. The feet
Oh
are
yeah, it has
beautiful.
feet. Yeah, that's true. It does have feet.
Their corners are rounded significantly more.
Huh.
Yeah, it's really the so it's those things really. The display is flatter. I mean, I don't know how to explain it other than it's flatter.
Oh
Oh, I
yeah.
know why. It's because the older Macs have slight it has a slight curve to it, slightly bulging out in the middle, I think.
No,
This
yeah,
looks
yeah,
like a
yeah. They always have like.
solid slab.
No, yeah. This has more of a similar approach to their like recent like iPads and
Yeah.
whatnot. Instead of like a curved thing, they're just going for the
And
straight
then
slab.
I
Oh,
swear
and the
that they took
iPads.
the curve at the top and then added it to the bottom because that the bottom curves off in a smoother fashion than the old
No, yeah,
ones.
that's true. It does keep like it makes the top seem like a much like was it like flatter surface to go in line with the flat like screen top.
Yeah.
And then it adds a little bit of extra depth or extra oomph to the bottom edge curves,
You
which
know
lead
what?
nicely to the feet.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say this. This is gonna be controversial. I think this is the best looking laptop. Period. Apple has not
Just
had the best looking laptop for a very long time now.
no, yeah.
I think that they have finally taken their crown back.
I mean, it's a very good looking laptop.
Because,
I oh, say.
because in the past, remember the I always go back to the MacBook Air. The MacBook Air, when it came out, was the nicest looking laptop. Full stop. No competition.
No, yeah.
Do you have an argument on that one?
I mean, when it came out, there was literally nothing like it, so I can't argue with that. Or as far as I'm aware, there was literally nothing like it.
And to my knowledge, the MacBook Pro, it was also like one of those like, okay, it's thicker, but still, it was the nicest looking. Other than the MacBook Air, it was the nicest looking laptop out there when it came out.
No, yeah.
I would also argue that their 2012 Retina MacBook Pro also when it came out. They stuck with that design for too long. When it came out, the 2012 Retina MacBook Pro was also the nicest laptop around. So, do you remember that one?
I believe so.
Remember how they had the thick boy and then they suddenly like cut it in half?
Thick boy. Yeah, I think I remember that.
And then that was
Or
a
at the very
nice
least,
design at the time.
I feel like I don't have to remember back too far, considering as you mentioned, they've pretty much stuck with the same language until like I'm assuming if I picture like any recent MacBook until now, I pretty much get the
Well, they changed the design in 2016.
okay. So if I think pre 2016, from 2012 to
So
2016.
the silver ones, the glowing Apple logo, the thin glowing Apple logo ones.
Oh, the glowing apple logo ones. I missed the glowing apple. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I know why they got rid of it, but but yeah, the glowing apple was cool. It led to some really cool designs, really cool stickers that people have made for that. Anyway, I
But
digress.
yeah, I think that when that came out, that was also the nicest looking laptop out there.
Yeah, and
You
they
know
kind
what?
of
This might be a hot take. I think that the 2016 might have been the nicest looking one out there. Not functional. I'm not saying functional. I'm saying nice looking. There's a difference.
yeah. That was 2016 peak Johnny Ives period. Is this when?
Definitely had the butterfly keyboard.
Oh, okay,
It's
so
the
we're
best
somewhere around
looking
there.
Mac that I didn't want to have.
It's the best looking Mac I did want to have. I want to see that like front page on.
But
uh,
I did have it.
Yeah,
I remember buying the 2016 as soon as it was announced. I remember that
yeah,
because I thought that it looked beautiful and it was super thin with USB-C ports that were completely useless at the time.
yeah. We weren't as familiar with the dongle life that we are in now.
So, you know what? Yeah, Apple does make really nice designs when they make it. Then they age.
Yeah.
But
And not quite like wine.
yeah. Like I know that the only problem that I could see with the 2016 in design wise is that Dell was not far behind them.
No, yeah. Yeah, Dell was making some pretty has been making some pretty strong
Yeah.
strides in their laptop design language.
I think that they surpassed Apple like a year or two after they released the 2016. But they were slightly behind design wise until then.
No, yeah. Yeah, they were coming close. They were the
So
closest by far, and I probably still are.
I'm so it wasn't like a night and day of like the previous generations. Like the okay, there's nothing close to this.
No, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that they might have recaptured a bit of this in this design. I don't know why, but the subtle changes that they made. It's so subtle. But it's the most inviting computer I've seen.
Yeah, it is a really good looking computer. I'm not gonna lie to you. And yeah, I really do dig the flat top surface for the if I had to give any major focus props to their design of the most recent one. I don't know. I also been a really big fan of the slated look for like everything they've been going for from their phones to like their iPad.
Yep.
Hence the reason why I've been like the most recent iPad Air was definitely on my radar when it was a thing.
And I don't know how they perfected that curve. I don't know. Something about that curve speaks to me. Speaks to me in a way that I never knew that something could speak to me in.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
yeah, it's a good curve. It's it's a very nice rounded edge, but yet somehow when you look at it from a side angle, it still maintains the flat slate of the of like the rest of the computer. Like the rest of the computer doesn't curve with it, but you still have
Yeah,
those nice curved
exactly. That's my
edges.
point. It's like it looks so nice, but I can't tell you why.
No, yeah.
Oh, and the other thing is that this is the first MacBook that I want the silver. Like I really want the silver. Like the space gray looks bad to me. I want the
Oh
silver.
wow.
Oh, why? Like the previous generation MacBooks, I've always been like space gray looks so much better.
Yeah, it's like space gray all the way, but
Even though
no,
they're the
no.
same exact colors, like something about the silver just hits me in a different way.
Hmm.
And I don't know why.
Huh. That's interesting. I mean, it does look really. It does. Interestingly enough, yeah, it does feel like it does pop out more in silver this time around for whatever reason.
No, I could
Uh,
tell that they're the same space gray. It's the same silver that I've always seen. But the space gray is just not appealing this time around.
no, yeah.
I don't get it. Anyway, that's. I think that we've talked a good amount about the design. Let's talk about
Yeah.
ports. So they
We have
finally,
more ports.
finally have an HDMI slot. For all of you people asking what HDMI slot is, oh, you poor
How?
souls, first of all. Come on. These kids that grow up with iPads these days, they don't know what an HDMI port is.
That's fair. You ever once thought of like the possibility of dongling, or I guess you would have to have invested in the more recent. I don't know if there's lightning to HDMI. I'm sure there is. It's probably just not an ideal scenario to go with.
Yes, there
I'm
is a
not
lightning
sure.
to HDMI. It's
Is that what
expensive.
is? Oh, I sure figured.
It's because it's not a true HDMI pass through.
Yeah.
There's
Oh, it needs to
CPU
do some.
involved.
Yeah, it needs to do some trickery.
Processing.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. No one ever want to know what it's like to mirror their iPad screen onto a bigger screen.
Yeah, it's
Anyway,
called using an Apple TV, Jared. Get with the program.
uh, I'm showing my age and my
AirPlay.
inexperience with
AirPlay everything.
AirPlay everything. I think I have. I technically. What devices do I have? I think I have maybe like one or two like smart TVs that can do AirPlay.
Yeah, that I
Not the
forgot
one in my
that.
room. Anyway, sorry. Anyway, moving on from AirPlay and um, for those who are unfamiliar with the HDMI life,
Yeah. So there's HDMI. There's Thunderbolt 4, obviously.
oh
MagSafe
yes,
and a headphone jack. They haven't removed it yet.
unheard of.
I know. I thought that they would be like AirPods 3. So because we believe that AirPods is such a great product, we've decided that it's time to remove the headphone jack.
No, yeah,
No, they wouldn't say it like that.
oh yeah, but we all know that's what they're thinking. They probably drop a subtle or maybe not so subtle hint of like the Bluetooth connectivity or something is goes well with your your devices like AirPods or something. But no, they
Still,
kept the
the fact
jack.
that there's almost no latency at all, that I could replace my headphones with AirPods.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's possible. It's an option. But the good news is with this one, both are options.
Yep. So let's talk about what I believe. What I believe is the second most
Mm,
impressive thing about this: the
the
display.
ports. Oh, yes.
You know what? No, I'm. Oh, it's hard.
Oh,
The reason why is because
excuse me.
this
Contemplating.
this almost ties for the most impressive thing about this.
Oh,
So they call this a liquid retina XDR display. I call this a micro LED screen. It's
yeah.
pretty much like micro LED is a technology like OLED. It's still more similar to LCD than OLED, except you have like many zones. So pretty much there's an entire panel of LED backlights behind the screen that allows you to have many different dimmable zones, making it kind of look like OLED in the way that certain parts of the screen can be pitch black and others can be like super bright.
No, yeah.
So it doesn't come with the downsides of OLED either, such as things like what's it called again? Oh, ghosting. Not ghosting, not
On the
ghosting.
burn-in.
Burn-in. And
No,
that's where
yeah.
the niceness of the LCD part of this comes in. It's not as susceptible to burn-in like OLED is.
No, yeah.
So you get the benefits of OLED without the drawbacks of OLED.
Best of both worlds, or best of the best part, the best of OLED. The yeah.
So yeah, I'm 1,000 nits brightness with 1,600 peak. Do I have to tell you how bright that is?
Oh, that must be bright.
That thing's
Brighter than the
blinding.
fact that I switched over to the screen to the website to show those stats, and it is blinding white.
Well, that's not 1,000 nits, you know.
I know. But someone could be watching this maybe sometime in the future on a 1,000 nit screen, and I have successfully blinded them.
So
To which case, I apologize.
yeah, honestly, I am incredibly impressed with this. And they also have a 120 hertz display on a MacBook.
Oh, yes. Get that promotion going.
And unlike our dumb friends in Redmond, which has promised this feature but never delivered it, adaptive refresh rate. Come on, guys. Apple figured it out. Google figured it out. It's only you now.
No,
You
yeah.
promised adaptive refresh rates, and you couldn't even deliver it in your own product.
How
And Windows doesn't
tragic.
and Windows doesn't even support it yet.
Windows is like, what's a refresh rate?
I don't know what a refresh rate is. So the reason why it's actually good to have adaptive refresh rates is because of the fact that it could save you battery,
No, yeah.
which Microsoft is in sore need of right now.
Hint, hint. See, Apple took our hints. Microsoft, Windows, get on that.
Honestly, I don't even think that Apple even needs to have an adaptive refresh rate for this computer.
No, yeah.
It's already that energy efficient.
The fact that they include it anyway, I can't help but appreciate. Save
Yeah,
battery life when and wherever we can. No kill like overkill. Sorry, anyway.
pretty much. But yeah, that's ooh that yeah. Do you see why I'm so impressed with the screen though? I mean,
No, yeah. It's a
this
really solid screen. It steps up. It is leaps and bounds.
yeah.
It's good stuff.
If they had this, if this was like their only upgrade, if they had a M1 Mac with just this screen, I'd say it's worth the extra cost.
Oh, yeah.
But they didn't just do this, they also upgraded their processor.
Oh, yes. They didn't just give you an M1 processor. They gave you two upgraded M1 processors.
So the M1 Pro is their baseline model. So, okay, the other cool thing about this is is that you can choose the size of your screen, and you could also choose how much power is inside of the computer.
What? Get
So you
out.
could have a
Unheard of.
14-inch laptop with more performance.
You don't have to sacrifice. You can
That's
customize it the way you want it to customize. The only thing
it's
you have to sacrifice is your money.
okay.
But that's a
I
given.
Okay, I know that that sounds terrible the way that you said that, but you know why I'm so stoked about this. It's because whenever
Yeah.
I think of like power, performance, I always think I need the 15 or 16-inch laptop. I
Yeah.
need
We
to
need to go
lug
with the
around the
Pro.
massive thing everywhere.
I might as well just have a desktop in my bag at this point. But dang it, do I have the power? I don't have any back left in me, but I have power.
But now it's like, okay, you know what? I could lug around this tiny laptop. I can plug it into a larger display, and it's not going to be as nice of a display, obviously.
Yeah.
But I can plug it into an external display, and
With
then I
my
can have a big
HDMI
screen
port.
when I want, and then I can have a portable laptop when I want.
Oh, yes. So much easier on the go with a 14-inch. And I have all the power in such a tiny, tiny-ish um, laptop body.
That being said, I don't. The M1 Pro, not the M1 Max, but the M1 Pro is already an amazing CPU.
Oh, yes.
I mean, the CPU performance is it's something else. So, let's see. Uh they're already coding like 2 times performance in Xcode compared to their i9 last year MacBook, which is the M1 Pro, not the Max. M1 Pro.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, the Pro and the Max are like really just GPU. Those are that's the biggest, difference
Yeah.
between the two.
That's the biggest bang for your buck between those.
But yeah, I mean, just those numbers, like you're comparing an i9 processor, like a very power hungry processor, with this stuff.
No, yeah.
That is crazy. You want to talk just a bit more about this? You have something?
Um, I don't know. I don't really have too much in terms of like substantial input to put. It's just yeah, it's just incredible. Like yeah, just with the Pro itself and the Max, just seeing how much they're able to pack into it and how much performance you can get out of it with like the fraction of the amount of power that you need to get something with like a comparable Intel or I'm assuming even an AMD processor. It's just
Okay.
from what I
J-
from the general stuff that they've showed.
okay, Jared. Do you want to know what blew my mind?
What is it?
Go to the section that says go inside M1 Pro and M1 Max. Just go there.
Yes.
This is a thing that was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this.
Oh, yeah.
Look for the graphs.
On the graphs at the bottom, yeah.
You see the comparison between the Compact Pro PC laptop graphics, the M1 Max GPU performance versus power. You see it?
Yes. Yeah,
Can you
CPU
take
performance
a
versus
guess
power.
what laptop that is?
The 8-core PC laptop.
Oh no, not the 8 core. It's the
Oh.
one. It's farther down.
Uh discrete laptop, high
The
end PC laptop graphics. Oh, compact
uh,
pro PC laptop graphics.
yes. Do you see that?
Oh yeah,
Do you want to take a guess what that is? What computer that is?
it's compact pro PC laptop graphics. With a high performing discrete GPU. Is it Dell?
No,
Is it Windows? Should be, yeah, because it's
obviously.
PC. Yeah. Compact Pro PC laptop graphics. Um, high performing discrete GPU. Uh,
Oh.
is it a Razer?
Yes,
It is a Razer.
it's a Razer.
How are you able to?
It's in the notes. Just so it's
Oh,
a Razer Blade 15 Advanced with a 3080.
that's bright.
That
Huh.
laptop has a 3080 in it. You know that other one, the high performance one? Do you want to take a guess what that guy is?
Oh, I think I went to the note. I'm assuming that's the
Okay.
other one that they're referring to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also has a 3080, but it's a gamer laptop. It's
Oh
a
yeah.
gamer laptop among gamer laptops, if you know what I mean by that.
No, yeah. It's a properly built. This is for sure your gaming laptop, full with probably RGB and all.
That's ginormous with fans that look like turbines.
Yeah. Also sound like turbines.
Yeah.
The moment when you power it on.
And the answer is this is not as powerful as that. But man, does it get close.
No, yeah. It's
You
gotten
know how
close, and even better, it consumes a lot less power.
and it's significantly quieter.
Oh yes.
And the M1 Pro, it has more graphics processing than a 3050 Ti. Yes, it's not as impressive as the M1 Max. But you're still talking about like a laptop 3050 Ti.
No, yeah.
It's
You're still looking at
crazy.
good stuff. No, yeah. The machines can keep up. They have more than enough potential.
Yeah. And the other thing is that it has unified memory. So, the RAM gets shared between both the CPU and the GPU, so the GPU can eat up as much RAM as it wants.
Oh yes.
Like, if the program doesn't actually use that much RAM, the GPU can end up eating up all of it.
No, yeah.
Which means that you could technically have like a 60 gigabyte GPU on your hands, which is crazy if you think about it.
That is really crazy. Yeah, you don't have to have two separate, yeah, like memory slots for those kind of things. You just share where you need it.
With
Divvy it
up
out.
with up to 200 gigabytes per second memory bandwidth in the M1 Pro and 400 for the M1 Max.
Oh yes.
They're
Oh
not
yeah.
they're not kidding around with their RAM.
No, yeah. They have gone all in with these to show you just how pro and how max they can make these.
Okay.
At least for the first generation.
So you know what, Jared? Reality is here. Sell me a Windows computer.
You want me to sell you a Windows computer? Okay.
you, you must have seen this question coming, Jared. You know that I've
Yeah,
been
yeah.
asking you that for a while now.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we've
Hmm.
been talking about this through speculation for a long time. But it's
Yeah,
here
yeah.
now.
Uh,
And it's better than I could have imagined.
it is really good. And especially for, yeah, heck, even at the price points that they're asking for, honestly, it's still really good. Um, yeah. Obviously, since we're already looking at the Pro lineup, I'm going to rule out the usual argument of, was it, like if you need something on the cheap, and you don't really care if you just need something to get you by for like a little bit, I'm going to leave that on the side because I don't know. I feel like that's always a possibility. Oh, and also, of course, leave aside like you just prefer Windows for whatever reason. Maybe you just have, like brand loyalty. Maybe for one reason or another, you've just never had luck with, I don't know, Apple products or MacBooks. As um, as my family can attest, not particularly with MacBooks, but sorry, just to stall for a moment, as we kind of had like a conversation previously on something a little bit related that I think we'll still
Yeah.
talk about later on. But um, for in terms of car brands, I'm sure Acura is a perfectly fine brand. I'm sure people have gotten some good reliability out of it. My family, not so much. Yeah, we've managed to uh two two um two Acuras have failed on us within the span of a year. I think one lasted for roughly about 7, 8 months, I think, and the other one about 3. So, um, again, it could, yeah. Again, I'm sure Acura is perfectly fine. It's just we've that has effectively scared us back into hanging on the Toyota life, but. I'm assuming there's probably some I can probably say the same, that maybe they just happen to get themselves some. You just haven't had good luck with iPhones or Macs and whatnot. But all those aside, if we're looking at pure price performance, we're assuming everything works out fine. You're just looking at these two machines. Yeah, arguably. Hmm. I'm guessing we're also looking at purely the laptop side, because I feel like chucking in a desktop in here might be. I mean, you lose the
Sell me
portability,
a
but
desktop too. I
you want
don't
me to
care
try to
at
sell you
this
a
point.
desktop?
Sell me a desktop. I'm at this point I'm really trying to find a way to do this.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see.
Except also remember the fact that you can't get desktops at the moment.
Was it?
Don't forget the current desktop market at the moment.
Oh, okay. So we're still taking in market at the moment.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm selling you right now. This is not just like a general, like if all parts
Correct.
were available. Like,
Yes. If you
so
were trying to sell me something right now at the moment, I'm buying today. Well, technically I'm getting it on in November 11th, but honestly, 3 weeks is still kind of fast for an OEM.
oh yeah.
You know what I mean by that.
Oh yeah. So let's say, yeah, at the very least, I have that time window between now and the 11th, if anything.
Yep.
Which, obviously, unless a miracle happens and I don't know, like TSMC decides to like crank their production up to like 1,000, I'm assuming we're probably still gonna be short on computer parts. So that's
Yep.
probably not gonna sit well. Because I'm assuming otherwise, if we're assuming like all bets are off and like items are, then I feel like it'd be kind of different. But anyway, if we're selling right now, if you're looking right now for um yeah, like a powerful laptop to handle, was it, handle your workload, maybe a good big, get yourself a good amount of gaming in while you're at it. Actually, if we are talking about right now, I do feel like, unless they've adjusted this since the last time we were talking about this, but in terms of like gaming wise, I'm like performance wise, it's all there. But I guess my question right now is like, how much has been more or less optimized in terms of the gaming space
I have an
for
argument for
Macs?
that one. Parallels. Virtualization.
Parallels.
Because if you remember,
Oh,
GPU performance doesn't seem to get that affected by translation layers. It's the
oh,
CPU
okay.
that generally does.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, maybe you might not be able to get your full 3080 level of performance, but maybe a 3070.
Hmm. Oh,
Or you
okay.
know what? Let's say it's a worst case scenario. Let's say 3060. You get a 3060 level of graphical performance.
Oh,
That's
okay.
significantly less.
Oh, okay. And we're also assuming all the games you want to play can still run through that. It's been, we can actually play it through that transition layer,
I mean, it's it's literally a virtual box.
right?
You're virtualizing Windows. You know how that
uh,
works.
okay, okay. So yeah, so yeah, so it just should play through if it's pretty much virtualizing Windows. Then if it runs on Windows, it should run on the Mac. Into which case, okay. So at the very least, you should still be able to play through your games, albeit you're not getting the full power of it. You're just getting the, what do you call it? You just, but you should still be able to, I'm assuming, get a playable experience out of it, no matter what. Yeah. Okay. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Arguably. Yeah. In terms of general cost, in terms of efficiency, I'd say this is your best bet to go. Um, it's hard to justify the desktop market right now, considering the fact that parts are like
Okay, show me
impossible to
the
come by.
desktop market when if it was normal. Just
Oh, okay.
I want something from you at the moment.
Oh, okay. So, okay. How much is the M1 Max? Is the computer running with the M1 Max going for?
3,300.
Hmm.
Ironically, it is the same exact price as a Razer Blade 15.
That's interesting.
Actually, it's cheaper.
Huh,
It's
interesting.
cheaper by $99 because $299 versus $399.
Okay. Hmm.
And this is the one that it outperformed.
No, yeah.
The compact gaming laptop.
No, yeah. Hmm. I guess it also does raise the question though, like what could you actually build for $3,000?
You could you could build pretty much a top end system with $3,000.
Hmm. Yeah. The only thing rather unfortunate about looking at it from the desktop end is that, well, you lose any form of portability by far. And technically, a pre like a custom built me machine is
Yeah.
technically not the most stable way to go about your life. Somehow, the dream machine's running, I guess, but it does come with its own complications. But I guess technically, if you're looking purely for, well, even then, if price and mobility is not an option, technically there are still machines that are able to dish out more power, but that opens up a whole can of worms.
I will concede gaming to a desktop. I don't concede professional workflow. I have one argument for you. The
Okay.
unified memory.
Hmm.
I'm talking about things like Maya that eat VRAM for breakfast.
Yeah. Hmm.
So the fact that you're able to allocate, your 64 gigabytes of RAM, however the computer wants to allocate it.
Yeah.
You can have giant projects in Maya, and it's not going to care because it has a memory that's necessary. I
Hmm.
believe that you only get like 12 gigabytes of memory in the 3080.
I think so. Yeah, I know no matter what, it pales in comparison to the idea of 64 gigabytes
Yeah.
that could be dedicated
So you're
to.
talking Quadro, and that brings your price bracket well out of what this MacBook Pro would cost.
No, yeah. Yeah, I think at that point it becomes less of a, yeah. Weirdly enough, the only times I could really at that point it feels like the argument becomes the only times I can justify anything beyond like the Mac, even like the previous M1 MacBooks and the MacBook Pros, if you're willing to look either well below or well beyond the price bracket, and you're
Yeah.
looking for something very specific, like you just need something to, I don't know, like look up emails for like a month or like a year or something, or you need something to literally render like the city of Honolulu in like 10 seconds. I don't know if there's even something that can do that. That sounds like major like supercomputer, and you happen to have like practically an infinite budget,
Yeah.
then then the world the literal window has opened and you're free to justify wherever. But if we're looking specifically at cost efficiency and in terms of how much power you get, or in said like price brackets, the MacBook Pros, or I guess the MacBooks in general, are a much easier sell. Yeah, in terms of performance to cost to performance. Yeah.
You know, the funny thing is, a few years ago, I think that both of us would be calling each other crazy for saying something like that.
Oh, yeah. We'd still be going off and off about, the MacBook's nice now, but you gotta give them that very infamous like Apple tax for that.
Now, is there a Windows tax? Is that a thing now?
That's. I think it's called the Surface tax.
No, it's called the operating system tax.
It's called the OS tax.
OS tax. Microsoft needs to make their money somehow, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know, I would actually make the argument for a high-end desktop piece. I mean, against a high-end desktop PC, even while video editing. Yeah, you're not going to hit that RAM, but the screen. In order to get an accurate display like that, you're spending at least $1,000, if not more.
Oh, yeah.
Which would push your desktop PC above once
Oh, yeah.
again, above the price
again,
bracket.
Oh, yeah. And then once again, that argument would fall into if I happen to have an unlimited budget and only care about getting my peak performance, then then it's justifiable. But I need like Jeff Bezos level money here. Or maybe not that. Well, I mean, it'd always be nice to have Jeff Bezos money, but yeah. In any event,
Yeah, it's hard to justify something like something else, especially since, it's thin, it's portable, it's
yeah,
quiet. I mean, it's the dream laptop.
yeah, it's portable, it's powerful, it's power efficient. Like honestly, it nails the three that you would ever want or ever need in a laptop.
Yeah. And I heard that's supposed to have some really good sound.
Oh, yeah, but I just kind of assumed that it was one of the givens that come with a MacBook.
Well, I mean, it's better.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've seen tech links. I've heard crab rave.
it's I mean, honestly, audio is not something they needed to improve.
But they did it anyway.
Exactly.
But they did it anyway.
Yeah, that's my point. It's one of those like, they didn't need to. But man,
They did it anyway.
They did.
They went for it. And I can respect that. They could have held back on a couple things, like you said, they've already given plenty with, this screen. They gave us back some ports, and
They didn't even
those
have to go
processors.
ham on the processors like that.
Yeah.
If they made it like equivalent to say like a 3070 or even a 3060 at the highest level, that would still be one of those like, wow, that's amazing. You know what I mean with that? It's like you get a thin and light laptop with that much performance.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
just
I'd still have the same exact reaction, honestly.
no, yeah. It just goes to show they weren't willing to sit on their coattails after hearing the success that came from just the M1 proper. They're willing to go above and beyond to prove we can make the machines that will like make your professional creative life so much easier.
What I want to know is how did they crush both AMD and Nvidia at the same exact time? It's odd because Nvidia has been constantly innovating.
Yeah. fact, recently we gave them the same amount of respect for not sitting on their coattails with the 3000 series. I mean, we never got a chance to ever get any
Yeah.
of the, or actually, I'm sorry, I never got a chance to get any of
I mean, you get what I'm saying. It's like, how did
them.
I feel like they like leapfrogged Nvidia, which I didn't think was possible.
No, yeah, I feel like that would have been yeah at least like a couple of years down the line, maybe if anything. But nah, fam, they worked hard. They were getting their ARM chips down to a science, and they found a way to unlock it the best way that they can.
They leapfrogged Nvidia. They're like GeForce chips with GeForce chips, Quadro.
Quadro. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how much performance. It gives major props to Apple for getting through this or for getting these out, and major props to the ARM architecture too.
Uh,
While we're here, it's got yeah, ARM is here, and it's here, and it's very much here.
I Intel, AMD, they need something fast. Microsoft needs something fast,
No, yeah,
like now.
no, yeah.
You know what? I might be wrong. I don't. This might be the best gaming product. This might end up being the best gaming product, period, on the market at the moment.
No, yeah. At this point in time, I won't question it. I'd
Because this
agree.
thing has more power than an Xbox Series X.
No, yeah, you can't even get those.
Because remember back when we were talking about this, we were kind of like, it's like, it's probably not going to have that type of power. It's probably going to be like somewhere in the middle of like last generation and the current generation. Remember that conversation?
No, yeah. Even in our highest hopes, I don't think we ever expected anything close to this.
I remember being like, okay, at best, it's going to be like slightly less powerful than like the Series X. I remember that being like my most like, this is probably not going to happen, but fingers crossed.
No, yeah.
And then it just like, well, what's a Series X? Just goes right past it.
No, yeah. Yeah, man. Unified memory is also a killer, man.
Oh.
Having a unified SoC for your CPU and GPU
You
for
know,
that.
the funny thing is, with that much RAM, you could load the entire game
Oh,
into
yes.
your RAM.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's
Depending on
not
your
even
game.
so games don't even need to think about, okay, I need to move this into my video memory. It's just
Oh, it's already
there.
all in the memory. The whole game's in the memory. That's fantastic.
It's it's like PlayStation's vision of, like streaming the data onto the RAM in real time, except it's just there already.
No, yeah.
Like, who's needs streaming if it's already there, right?
No, yeah. It's all right there. Right at your right in your console. It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
All that.
this in gaming, of course, I know that ML is starting to become a thing, and this thing destroys any sort of processor for ML, period.
No, yeah.
This thing kills in the GPU performance and it destroys in CPU performance.
No, yeah. They
I
didn't
don't know
just
what
come to
else to
play,
say.
they came to win. There you go. We have now seen the first generation power of ARM processors from Apple.
You know, do you know what's the scariest thing about this?
What will
Do you
that be?
know? There's
The
one
fact
more
that they haven't
computer.
released a Mac Pro yet. Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's one more computer.
Oh yeah. We still
That's
don't
the
know what's going on
scariest
with that
thing.
yet.
Yes, it's probably going to cost 10 grand again. But if this scales like 1-to-1 with price, which nothing ever does except for this for some reason or another.
Well, imagine the possibilities.
You know what? I don't even care if it's 1-to-1. If you can pretty much give me like a, 1-to-2 type of ratio, that would still be crazy.
Yeah.
That would crush everything.
Yeah. There is a lot, and I mean a lot of potential that could go into a release of a ARM-based Mac Pro.
Don't forget that these things ship with a 90 something watt charger, which means its TDP has to be lower than that.
Oh yeah.
And I know Apple that you you generally are able to charge while you're using the computer at full. So it's not
Oh
just
yeah.
like barely enough. It's enough.
Oh yeah.
So I'm assuming that you're probably talking at max like an 80 TDP. Like the entire laptop's probably like using up 80 watts period at
Oh
its
yeah.
max.
Oh man.
80 watts. If you scale that up to like 4 or 500 watts, imagine the possibilities.
Oh yes. So much possibility with that.
Yeah.
So much potential power.
No.
But I guess that's all for the future. They still have, was it? They're 1 year into their 2 year transition, so they got some time.
Some time, but they don't have much time.
Yeah.
I think it's
But
going to
luckily,
happen a lot faster.
yeah. We'll hear it soon. I'm sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. I
Save the
like,
best for last, possibly.
you know, I didn't trust Apple going into this. I thought that they were going to screw this up. I mean, I knew that
Yeah.
they were going to get the processor right, obviously. I meant everything else.
Uh, we're expecting they're still gonna stick with maybe like 3 or 4 Thunderbolts on there. The touch bar would
Well,
remain the touch bar.
honestly, at this point, I didn't even consider those downsides because I just thought that it was par for the course.
Yeah.
Those were
The
just
parts where
those were just like things about a MacBook at that point to me. I don't care, honestly.
yeah.
Because, like every other manufacturer has followed suit anyway, so you can't really knock them for it anymore.
Yeah. It's pretty much just how it's been. So, yeah, like you said, it's par for the course.
But
So,
they surprised me in a good way.
yeah, they've done so much right with this one.
Yeah.
I'm willing to make my wallet hurt for this. Honestly.
Yeah. You can live the full Apple life for once.
Oh yeah. I guess there is a reason why I held off until now. I probably could still invested in a Mac Mini and been okay, but
Honestly, though,
anyway,
even Mac Minis are still a really good deal.
yeah, what is it, like $700? You get yourself a decent amount of power in a very small form factor. Doesn't take up like a fourth of my desk like the ever loving Dream Machine over here. But yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of ARM, let's talk about the last thing on our list today.
Oh yes.
So, Google has also released something. Well, not released, but well,
They have
announced.
fully announced.
They announced two phones, the Pixel 6 Pro and the Pixel 6. Honestly, I think that these have the potential to take on Apple.
Oh yeah.
I I think that this is Google's first real attempt of actually making a good phone. Not one of those like, oh, I mean, we're making a phone for tradition at this point. This is the first time I think that Google's really going to try to make the volume.
Oh yeah. They're
Because
putting all their chips into this one.
literally.
Oh yeah.
So they have the tensor processor, of course, as everyone's already talked about. And you know, I've heard a lot about this. Like, not because I look into it. I've heard a lot about the Pixel 6 because I keep hearing advertisements about it.
That's a rare one. You actually get advertisements for the fit. Well, I guess I've seen TV advertisements for the Pixel before, but it's amazing that they're releasing advertisements for it this
Yeah.
early on.
This is why I really believe this is Google saying, "Hey, we're entering this game and we're entering it strong and we're here to win."
Oh yes.
And then there's probably also thinking, you know what? We make this OS, we're going to make it best.
Oh yeah. Fine, we'll do it ourselves. And we'll really do it ourselves because we got our own chip and everything.
And I
Don't need
also
to wait for Qualcomm to update our stuff.
and I also think that they're not going after Samsung. I don't think that Google sees Samsung as a threat, honestly.
Yeah,
Like,
I think we both agreed it would have been counterproductive for them to go after
yeah,
their own Android partner.
because quite frankly, Samsung brings in revenue, a lot of revenue from the Play Store. And of
Yeah,
course, through like Gmail, through like Google Drive, stuff like that. I mean, that stuff isn't direct revenue, but well, it gets you somehow.
yeah. At the very least, information you can
So,
happily see how scarily much Google takes from you. That's for another time. Maybe after this.
but yeah, I mean, this is the first time that I can see that Google is actually using the Google brand to sell you a product. Like, they're really pushing the fact that it's by Google. I know that you could argue that hey, Pixel was, that everyone knew it was by Google, but Google kind of distanced themselves from the Pixel branding if you ever really looked at it. Yeah, they say that's a phone by Google, but they it's hard to explain. There's times when Google you could tell that they're really putting their brand behind something, and then times that they're like, yeah, it's by us, but it's it's one of the other teams.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's really become like I don't know. It kind of got the feeling of like back in the way early days when, if I recall correctly, the Pixel's pretty much a branch from Google's
Nexus.
like experimental Nexus brand, yeah,
Yeah.
where they got to test out new things. They didn't really care like, oh, this is like a phone you want to buy if you want to like, I'm assuming like mess
If
around
you're a
with stuff,
dev,
like
or
yeah,
if
if you
you're a
want to like
dev.
develop and whatnot. And then eventually you want to go more consumer space, get into the Pixel. I think it still kind of had a little bit of that vibe early on, I think, if I remember correctly. I could
Yeah.
be wrong. But yeah, eventually, weirdly enough, somewhere in the middle, it just became like, I mean, it's got a good camera and good camera software, but other than that, I can't really tell you much else good going on with it.
Yeah.
But now they're kind of sort of bringing back a little bit of the experimental nature to it, but this time less on Android development, more on tensor development. I guess I don't
Yeah.
know.
And the thing is, Google's really trying to brand this. That that camera, love it or hate it, it's a brand. It's part of the
Oh
Pixel brand
yes,
now. You look at
that
it, you know it's a Pixel.
no yeah,
It's there's no
guaranteed.
denying it. There's nothing like it out there.
Yeah, it's not just another weird camera side bump thing. No, it's a full-on bar. And the best part of having a full-on bar is that you can silhouette it and you can still tell that's a Pixel.
Yeah. It's like how iconic the iPhone back is. It has that triple camera design that looks like an alien.
No, yeah,
You know it's an iPhone.
you can see it staring at you.
If you remove the Apple logo, you will still know that it's an iPhone.
Oh yeah,
If you remove the Google logo from that, you know that's a Pixel. It's
oh
just
yeah. From
obvious.
this one, for sure, there is no mistaking that.
I don't think that the Pixels have ever had that type of brand recognition before,
Oh yeah,
because all of them have always looked semi-generic, and the
oh
ones that
yeah,
don't look completely generic, there's there's nothing defining about it that makes you completely know it's a Pixel.
no yeah. It's just another Android phone that you just find on the shelves, and you're like, oh, I guess that's cool. But yeah, nothing really drew to the Pixel. But now there's draw.
I'm looking forward to this. This is gonna be an amazing chipset. It's gonna be an amazing phone. I can't wait to see more about this. There's still not much because obviously it's not out. But yeah. 120 hertz screen on the Pro, 90 hertz screen on the regular one.
Yeah,
Supposedly really good cameras. I mean, what else are you going to ask from a Pixel? Stock Google software, which actually looks like the best version of Android,
oh
period,
yes.
for once.
Can't go wrong with the original, and especially in this particular case. But yeah, Pro's also starting at 899. So you got your traditional flagship pricing going for the Pro. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
599 for the uh standard.
I'm looking forward to it, and I think that's all we have for today, right?
Yeah, that pretty much sums up this episode. Man, we have some pretty major topics to go through tonight.
Well, thank you all for watching, and I guess we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.
See you.